Coming up next on TV5 News, talk of the university strike has had a negative impact on teachers as well as students. Mark Despatakis has the story. A body from a 1954 murder will be exhumed soon for further investigation. Details straight ahead.
Plus, Christian Stanton will join us with a look at what's in store with the area's weather. And Martise McCree will have the top stories in the world of sports. All this and more as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
This is TV5 News, bringing coverage closer to home.
University officials are negotiating a possible strike that affects Clarion as well as 13 other state schools. Good evening, I'm Christy Desort.
And I'm Brian Cook. Mark Despatakis joins us now with the story. Mark?
Thanks, Brian. Well, the past week there's been a lot of speculation and media attention focused on the possibility of a strike at the 14-state system of higher education schools. Today we went out to get some answers, and it's tonight's top story. Concerns.
If and when there's a strike, the university will remain open.
Those words answer a lot of questions and speculation that has been going on around the Clarion University campus over the last few weeks. But new details came out this past weekend when contract talks between the state system of higher education and APSCA, the faculty union, broke down Saturday night. Among the new information from Saturday, we found out that the parties are now apart on about a dozen issues. Also, the APSCA team recommended that the APSCA president is allowed to call a work stoppage when he deems it necessary. According to APSCA, binding arbitration was once again offered, but received no response from the state system. But back to the big question that's on students' minds. What will happen on campus?
We're planning to leave the university classrooms open for professors who choose to do so to still teach at the university. We are planning to keep the other parts of the university open. The residence halls will be open. The dining hall will be open.
Another question that I posed to Mr. Wilshire was the question of what will happen if the strike lasts for an extended amount of time.
Right now the system is planning to keep the universities open. In case of a prolonged strike, other options would be looked at, such as Saturday classes or extending the semester. But we want to make sure that the students continue to receive their education.
This story is really one that will be continuing throughout the rest of the year, and we of course keep you updated on this story that will affect the entire community. Live in the newsroom, I'm Mark Despatakis. Back to you, Christy.
We brought you in May. The tire owner of the tire fire in Paint Township will not be charged with environmental violations. Dixie Stevens said cleanup at the site. However, a white powdery material was found on the site, and the Clarion News was told that the Department of Environmental Protection will not determine what will happen with the material until they know what the substance is. DEP officials will inspect the site again once the cleanup is complete. A 19-year-old Sligo man has been charged with attempted rape. Jason Bonner was charged with criminal attempt to commit rape and burglary, criminal trespassing, indecent assault, loitering and prowling, public drunkenness, and underage consumption of alcohol. Bonner allegedly entered the victim's bedroom and began kissing her. Clarion Borough Police reported that Bonner was several yards in the vicinity of the victim's apartment and was lurking inside.
A Clarion County man waived his preliminary hearing and is taking the case to the Court of Common Pleas. Samuel Labriere was charged with third-degree felonies of sexual child abuse after police found images of child pornography transmitted from his computer. The date for the case has not yet been determined. East Brady's new police officer has yet to report for duty, but Borough Secretary Dal Eck isn't worried. Officer Donald Albrecht was to report for duty on September 1st but never showed up. Eck contacted Albrecht last week and discovered that the new officer was delayed due to paperwork that is still being processed in Harrisburg. Albrecht is waiting for the series of background checks and clearances to be completed and will report for duty as soon as his paperwork has been finished. Eck stated to the Clarion News that there is nothing to be concerned about because the borough is a quiet town with an older population.
Environmental problems at a gas well drilling project in Limestone Township have led to penalties imposed by the Department of Environmental Protection. Dakota Operations Company of Indiana, Pennsylvania received penalties of $9,000 for polluting a drinking water spring and for failing to maintain erosion and sedimentation controls. Dakota Operations also allowed oil and contaminated water to flow into Piney Creek, DEP officials told the Clarion News. However, Dakota Operations have restored the spring to normal condition. Residents and officials in the St. Petersburg area are concerned about the closing of the ambulance station at Clarion Hospital. Hospital representatives say the station is looking at being eliminated due to the relatively low volume of service it handles. Part of the problem is that the station is closely located to the Edmonton ambulance service, only 4 miles away. Many in the community are concerned about response time if the St. Petersburg station were in fact to be closed. Decision-making has been postponed for the St. Petersburg station.
3 local officials have decided it's time to increase the safety of the Oil City Rapids. The officials have decided that the best way to increase safety is to create a chute that canoeists can follow through the area to safety. Since 1991, the stretch under the Veterans Bridge along the Allegheny River has been the site for many boating accidents. The city hopes to finance half of the project through a grant from the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. The project is estimated to be $40,000. Workers at the AK Steel Holding Company's pipe plant in Sharon could go on strike later this week. The union workers dismissed a 5-year contract because the company was proposing reducing profit sharing, which would offset the pay raise. The workers are looking for a contract that is similar to the one offered to the workers at the Wheatland Tube Company and the Sharon Tube Company.
A Reimersburg man has been charged in 3 cases. Dennis Smith, age 20, was charged on counts of theft, solicitation to commit theft, and receiving stolen property. He was also charged with accepting bribes and criminal conspiracy and perjury. Also being charged are Marie Goodman from Reimersburg and Russell Hepler from East Brady. According to state police investigation, $3,000 was taken from a safe at a Red Bank Township home.
Frank Survey from Reimersburg has been charged with the intimidation of witnesses and criminal conspiracy and bribery in official matters. Police allege that Frank Survey was offered Dennis Smith $400 to refuse to testify against him. At the hearing, witnesses stated that they could not recall the incident. However, after the hearing, Survey gave Smith a check for $400. Police are charging 6 men with the theft of gasoline from a Toby Township maintenance shed. The 6 men are being charged with the receiving of stolen property and criminal trespassing. Police allege that the men took 117 gallons of gasoline from the Toby Township shed, valuing $150. Township supervisors reported to the police that the 2 thefts of gasoline have been taking place at a storage tank at the township maintenance shed. In all, an estimated 700 gallons of gasoline had been stolen in the 2 incidents.
When we return, find out which local plant may go on strike in the next week. We'll tell you of 2 recent high school shootings in the Philadelphia area and a murder case that made national news in 1964 may resurface soon.
But first, Clarion Call editor Jeff Say will be here with a look at the latest Clarion University news. Stay tuned as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
In the early years, young children cannot stand on their own. Uniting parents and children is an important part of the life of a community. Stand for Children encourages people to make a personal commitment to stand for the health of children. 300,000 Americans marched in Washington, D.C. last June to support Stand for Children Day. Stand for Children seeks to lift the belief that children need our help to stand.
It's a birthday. I'm the mayor. It's a birthday.
Exercised lately?
Go for the mouthful. Go for the fun. Go for cake. For everyone. Just one stock is what it takes. And it's Gopher cakes. Open wide. Stuff your face. There's always room for more Gopher cakes. Empty the box. They're reload. Eat those Gopher cakes till you explode.
Exercised lately?
Till you explode.
Sad, looking back now, the things you go through in life. Scary. The worst thing about being on welfare was what they really wanted. I had to get a life for my girls and myself. I got off welfare. I got a good job. Makes me the happiest mother in the world. I live for my girls.
We're not asking you to hire everyone on welfare, just one.
Kristen Stead with TV5 Weather. Martise McCree with sports. Now, from the news team bringing coverage closer to home, this is TV5 News.
Welcome back to TV5 News. Clarion Call editor Jeff Say is here in the TV5 newsroom to tell us about the approval of a new academic calendar and details about the enrollment increase for Clarion University. Jeff?
Good evening. In the September 30th edition of the Clarion Call, a motion was passed to adopt a new academic calendar for the year 2001-2002 at the latest Faculty Senate meeting. The new proposal will combine winter and spring breaks. Winter break will be a week and a half long, and spring break will be 4 days long. This calendar will begin the semester a week earlier before Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It has been announced that enrollment at Clarion University has increased since the last academic school year. The current enrollment of full-time, part-time, undergraduate, and graduate students is now at 6,037, which is an increase from 166 from last year's 5,871. Over the last year, the cost of tuition for out-of-state students has decreased, causing more out-of-state students to attend Clarion University. Dean of Admissions John Shropshire said, "I think another reason that the enrollment grew is because most students that were surveyed said how friendly everyone was." At the last meeting of the Board of Student Governor Presidents, Clarion Student Senate President Leslie Shore was elected to the Secretary-Treasurer office. Shore's responsibilities include keeping financial records, taking minutes at BSGP meetings, and distributing all materials to the rest of the officers. Shore said the board focuses at the first meeting was discussions regarding negotiations between APSCUF and the state system. Shore said, "We are trying to provide as much information to the students as possible. We also urge for a quick settlement to the dispute." The next BSGP meeting will be held November 12th through 14th at Clarion. I'm Jeff Say for TV5 News.
Thanks, Jeff. The Clarion County Courthouse Preservation Committee has agreed to meet with other architects before recommending to the commissioners who should complete the courthouse study. Two of the architectural firms have met with the committee over the past 2 months and stated that the study of courthouse would cost the county $1,400. The committee has agreed to reconvene one more time to discuss making the recommendation to the commissioners.
In honor of the 30th anniversary of Woodstock, the Autumn Leaf Committee created a new event this year to benefit a worthy charity and in the process try and break a world record. Foodstock 99 was held Friday with the goal of trying to collect enough non-perishable food items to be dubbed the Guinness Book of World Records' largest charity food drive within 24 hours. Area schools, churches, organizations, and Clarion University students collected food items. Smucker's kicked off the food drive with their generous donation of 3,000 jars of peanut butter. There has never been a record like this set, so Clarion will definitely be in the record books. Taking a look at news across the state, court and police records show that security guards operating the main X-ray machine at Pittsburgh International Airport failed twice to detect a pellet gun carried in the knapsack of an 18-year-old man. Wesley Dixon carried the pellet gun into his job at McDonald's at the airport back in June. The Pittsburgh Tribune-Review reports that he was caught after a restaurant employee reported the pellet gun to an Allegheny County police officer. Dixon told police he carried the pistol for protection during his late-night bus rides back to the city.
A 17-year-old student has been charged in yesterday's shooting at a high school in Philadelphia. Authorities say an assistant principal suspected the teen of having a gun and confronted him. According to police, the two struggled and moments later the gun went off in the boy's pocket. The assistant principal is hospitalized at this time without any serious injuries. The teen has been charged with simple aggravated assault, possession of an instrument of crime, and related offenses.
The Supreme Court has rejected Mumia Abu-Jamal's death row appeal. The former Black Panther and radio journalist was condemned for the killing of a Philadelphia police officer back in 1981. Abu-Jamal claims he's innocent and argues he was denied a fair trial. But the Supreme Court yesterday turned away his appeal. The victim's wife, Maureen Faulkner, says she's glad that yet another hurdle has been cleared on the path towards justice for her husband. Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge is expected to sign a new execution warrant for Abu-Jamal in the next 30 days. The strike continues today against the Wawa convenience store chain. Truck drivers and warehouse workers are walking picket lines after rejecting a contract proposal earlier this week. Restrictions have been placed on strikers to where they can picket in front of the Wawa 550 stores. Company officials say the stores will stay open using alternative suppliers.
Jury selection resumed today in a trial of a teenager charged with killing a police officer in McKean County. 19-year-old Timothy Williams of Coudersport is accused in the February shooting death of Kane police officer Stephen German. Jury selection being held in Mifflin County due to the heavy news coverage in McKean County. No jurors were seated on Monday. 12 jurors and 6 alternates are being scheduled to be selected for the case. A convicted arson killer serving 3 consecutive life sentences for the deaths of his wife and sons is asking for a new trial. The request came after a juror member fell asleep during testimony. 32-year-old James Young of Jeanette claims his defense attorneys at the time never took action when told of the juror.
When TV5 News continues, Gary Martin will be here with this week's latest financial beat. Kristen Stanton gives us a look at your latest Clarion area forecast. Plus, Martise McCree will have the highlights from the weekend's homecoming game. See who won the game coming up in sports.
But first, tragedy strikes as a head-on train collision claims the lives of 8 people. We'll give you the details straight ahead as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
Phone hours.
Use the phone just 8 hours a week and get this free phone cradle. Use it 12 hours and get a speakerphone.
Use it 15 hours and get this cool headset.
Or stay on the phone 20 hours a week
And get a pasty complexion.
flabby body, and a great new nickname at school.
Exercised lately?
I would like all my friends to be there. I want my mother to be there. My hair's gonna be done so beautiful. A lot of music, a nice blue dress. I want to be beautiful for every single person that goes there. If I get shot, I want to have a nice funeral.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. Help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT for free information. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
Thanks for joining us. Taking a look at news across the nation, another chapter unfolds today in a 1954 murder case that inspired the series and movie The Fugitive. The body of Marilyn Shepard was exhumed this morning as part of the state's effort to defend itself in a lawsuit. Dr. Sam Shepard spent 10 years in prison for killing his wife before being acquitted of her murder at the retrial. The couple's son, Sam Reese Shepard, is suing the state to have his father declared innocent and collect damages. Forensic scientists were rescheduled to examine Mrs. Shepard's wounds along with the fetus she was carrying when she died. Shepard says prosecutors are using the exhumation to delay a trial set for January.
Congress is the latest to weigh in on the controversial exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum of Art. Lawmakers have passed a non-binding resolution calling for the termination of federal funds for the museum. The museum has been at the center of controversy over a graphic exhibit entitled Sensation. It features a severed cow's head and a painting of a black Virgin Mary splattered with elephant dung and pornographic cutouts. According to GOP lawmakers, taxpayers should not have to pay for a controversial show. New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani has blasted the exhibit as vulgar and anti-Catholic. British police now say 8 people are dead from a train collision this morning in London. About 160 people are reported injured and as many as 100 others could be trapped in the wreckage. According to officials, the 2 commuter trains collided at the height of rush hour. Several cars derailed and at least one burst into flames. One of the passengers saw people badly hurt, burned, and other impaled by the seats.
MCI WorldCom has won the bidding war for Sprint in what would be the biggest corporate takeover in history. MCI WorldCom is paying $115 billion for the number 3 ranked long-distance company. The company will also assume $14 billion in debt. The deal brings together the nation's second and third largest long-distance carriers, with estimated revenue about $50 million. The 2 companies will have 30% of the customer long-distance market, with more than $30 million of long-distance customers.
Gary Martin is here to tell us about finding the right investment plan in this week's financial report. Gary?
You and your spouse probably share many dreams for retirement: traveling, relaxing, enjoying hobbies, or maybe even starting a business together. You'll do a lot of things together during retirement, but you may not retire at the same time, so you'd better be prepared. For example, if you retire and your spouse is still working, you might not need to tap your retirement funds right away. Instead, you could keep your money in your employer's retirement plan if allowed. Or, if you're eligible, you could roll the money into an IRA. How about health insurance? If you carry it where you work and you retire first, make sure your spouse can add you to his or her health plan. Finally, you might want to make some changes in your investment portfolio to achieve the right balance of growth and income. By planning ahead, you and your spouse can make smooth transitions into retirement, no matter who retires first. With TV5's Financial Beat, I'm Gary Martin, your Clarion Edward Jones investment representative, member SIPC.
If there is a topic you would like to see on Financial Beat, send it to us at TV5, Becker Hall, Clarion University, Clarion, PA 16214. We are not able to answer individual letters concerning financial advice. It's almost time to turn back the clocks and pull out those winter coats. Kristen Stanton is here to give us the latest look on our Clarion area forecast. Kristen?
Thanks, Christy and Brian. I'm Kristen Stanton here with your TV5 Weather Center forecast for this beautiful and sunny Tuesday we've had today. Let's first take a look at our U.S. satellite picture, which you can see the open area of no cloud cover, which we have been under today, which has caused all that beautiful sunshine that we saw. But back here towards the west, you can see some cloud cover, which will be moving on later in the week. If we take a look at our frontal map, you can see where the fronts lie. That is where the cloud cover is coming through, right about here. This is a cold front, which will give us some showers later on in the week, but nothing to be too afraid of. Here's our local radar map. You can see, once again, no rain, no precipitation in the area. And if you also take a look across the country today, you can see that there has been pretty much no precipitation throughout the country, just down south in the Florida Panhandle area. Let's take a look at our highs for today across the United States. You can see that it's been generally warm down here in the south. Up here where we are, you can see that there has been lots of cold weather. But if you take a look at the lows, you can really see that we've been having some chilly weather. You can see right here where we've been very cold, oftentimes in the mid to upper 30s at night. So we've definitely come into fall recently. Now, if we take a look at the 5-day forecast for Clarion, Wednesday it'll be about a high of 55, low at about 40. Thursday should be a beautiful sunny day, high of 54, low in the lower 30s. Friday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 59 and low in the upper 30s. Saturday we'll have some scattered showers, a high of 59, low of 45. And Sunday it'll be partly cloudy and windy, high of 59, low of 42. Thanks, and back to you, Christy and Brian.
Thanks, Kristen. Coming up after the break, the Steelers suffer a heartbreaking loss. Martise McCree is here to give us the highlights in this week's World of Sports.
It's all straight ahead as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
Standing out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
Where have all the children gone? Long time passing.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. You can help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life, more grieving family. Not one more.
Gone to graveyards one by one. Oh, when will we ever learn?
News travels fast. That's why you need the speed and accuracy of a news team that brings coverage closer to home. Every Tuesday and Wednesday night, join TV5 News for Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8. Tune in for the latest in regional, state, and national news. Plus, with our newspaper exchange partner, the Clarion News, teaming up to bring coverage closer to home every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8 is here on TV5.
Welcome back to TV5 News. I'm Martise McCree. On Sunday, the Jacksonville Jaguars defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-3. This was the first time the Jaguars won in Pittsburgh since they joined the NFL. Jacksonville didn't dominate offensively like they had in San Francisco, winning 41-3, but playing against the Steelers' offense, they didn't need to. The Steelers went without a touchdown for 2 weeks.
Last night, the Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins 23-18. Bills quarterback Doug Flutie went 12 for 25 for 186 yards and added another 29 in rushing. The Bills' victory was revenge for their 24-17 loss to Miami in last year's playoffs. At Clarion University's homecoming game on Saturday, the Golden Eagles were defeated by the Slippery Rock Rockets 45-7. The Rockets led 35-0 at the half. Clarion plays Edinburgh at Edinburgh this Saturday. Now let's take a look at the PSAC West standings. The teams played their first conference games this week. Shippensburg and Slippery Rock are in the lead with an overall record of 4-1 and a conference record of 1-0. IUP has an overall record of 3-1 and a conference record of 1-0. Cal U stands with an overall record of 3-2 and has not yet played a conference game. Clarion has an overall record of 1-3 and a conference record of 0-1. Lock Haven and Edinburgh both stand with an overall record of 1-4 and a conference record of 0-1. In high school sports, the Clarion Limestone Lions played the Union Golden Knights on Thursday night. The Lions' sophomore running back Dan Alderton rushed for 349 yards and 4 touchdowns on only 13 carries. Alderton also caught a pass for 77 yards. The Lions beat the Golden Knights 44-24. That's it for sports. I'm Martise McCree. Back to you, Christy and Brian.
Thanks, Martise. It's just in time for Halloween. It's oversized and orange. However, it's not a jack-o'-lantern. What's emerged from Dorothy and Irvin Kuntz's garden isn't a pumpkin. It's a giant carrot. The Canadian couple has grown a carrot that's 10 inches long and 11 inches wide. The Kuntzes say they've always had a good garden, but never have grown anything like this. They won't be making a carrot jack-o'-lantern, but instead will be dicing their big carrot for stew.
Kristen Stanton would join us with one more look at the Clarion area forecast. Kristen?
Thanks once again, Christy and Brian, and let's recap the weather for the next couple of days here in our area. You can see Wednesday it'll be a high of around the middle 50s and low in the lower 40s. And Thursday we'll have a high of 54 and a low of 32. And then we'll have some showers moving in Friday and Saturday. Now back to you, Christy and Brian.
That wraps up this week's edition of TV5 News. I'm Brian Cook.
For the entire TV5 News team, I'm Christy Resort. Tune in again tomorrow at 8 as Cynthia Walker and Dave Marsh bring you the latest local, state, and national news. The Autumn Leaf Festival is coming up at 9 o'clock right here on TV5 News, so stay tuned and have a good night.